Hi, these are your Jesse Mack one word or less comic reviews for 2015 as a whole, and not really one word or less because I dropped that format for the end of the year and I just ramble on incessantly. I'm going to try to keep it shorter this time because I upped my video resolution from 720p to 1080, and now the file size is huge, and this is probably going to take like a day and a half to upload because I'm terrible at files stuff. Comics. That's why we're here. My 10th favorite comic of the year was Stray Bullets, Sunshine, and Roses #1. And this, for me anyway, because I haven't read the old Stray Bullets series, apparently this was the 50th issue, uh, was my introduction to Kretschmeyer, and he is a piece of work, and this comic gets you real deep into how gross that man is and how cold and just cunning. I was gonna say smart, but cunning's a better word. I like some big words, hence the one word thing. Just deliciously done. Okay, and then we have my number 9 book, Deadly Class #10. This one, you'll notice a lot of the comics on this list are the ones where the stuff hits the fan, where a book is good, it's kind of climbing up that roller coaster ramp, ready to take the plunge, and then the plunge. That's my favorite moments, of course. Duh. Why am I just saying things that you already could have figured out? But this one starts off innocent enough where it's just gross and silly, and then suddenly, boom, everything goes to crap. And wait, no, that's earlier. Yeah, this I've said before, Deadly Class, I feel like I am not as connected to it as I could be, but it just does the drop so well where it just takes your legs off, and it feels like stuff is serious and it's going down and it can't be taken back, and I appreciate that, and this issue did it better than any but 8 other issues for me. Sex Crimes #10 is my 8th favorite book this year. This one was a good meditation on depression and love. Was also silly and funny, kind of sexy, but more silly and funny, and was a very good time. I'm paging through here, and he's wearing a shirt that says "shirt" on it. That's not even why it's on this list. Beautifully done. Sex Criminals, always a standout comic, and this was my favorite issue of it this year. I feel like it hasn't hit the heights that it did its first year, but still very good. Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses #4. What would this be? #6. And this one was just very action-packed and cruelly so. Just a lot of just terrifying, horrible things. A lot of facing down the devil when you have secrets and you're not sure how much somebody else knows or how much they do know, but are they going to let on? It's a lot of wondering if it's all going to fall apart at any moment, and then also a bunch of artful murder, and one of the most crushing last pages that is gross and amazing. And after looking through this list, like I do this list as I'm going along, and I feel like at the end of the year I am almost always wrong. That this probably should have been higher, the next book probably should have been higher. There are probably books that came after it that aren't even on this list that could have gotten higher, but just the impact hits, and then it leaves that impression in your mind, and it's tough to pass that, even though other books may have. Regardless, I'm not going to dwell on how bad I am at reviewing comics while I'm reviewing comics. The Wicked and the Divine, #11. This is the big one. This was the one where the stuff that had been going down went all the way down, and they Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey had very nicely set up a tell for the series, like a recurring moment that when it happens in this book again comes out of nowhere, and like I'm almost to the verge of tears now thinking about like just a beautiful moment where all of a sudden it's like boom, now the book is going to get started, and then not so much as the story gets flipped on its head and it hasn't been the same book since, not for better or for worse, just for different. No one gets a happy ending. Fifth favorite book was Saga number 29, which I believe is, Saga's only representation on this list. This was the heavy loss issue. There's a theme here. There is definitely a theme here. And, Saga, more than just about any book, I care deeply for the characters, and then when the high adventure plots reach their crescendos, it just drags me right through it. And this one had me caring more than I thought I would for a character who was fairly new to the book. It's very good. Also, right here, there's a dragon doing some stuff to his own stuff, I guess is the friendliest way to say that. Which, again, it's amazing how good so many of these books are at doing something silly or fun and kind of getting you into that happy place, and then letting the floor drop out from under you as everything just explodes. Which, you need that juxtaposition emotionally to really get, your stomach drops too, because you thought you were having a good time, and then suddenly everybody is dead. Maybe not everybody, but metaphorically speaking, everyone died. Deadly Class number 12 is my fourth favorite comic of this year. Only 2 issues after the last Deadly Class that made it onto here. And this one was a long time coming and was all action. And I don't want to full spoiler any of these books, because everything on here obviously I feel would be worth reading, and if you haven't read it, go read Deadly Class, go read Saga, read Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses, read the next books that are in the thing. But the last page in this one is another one where it's just... I wasn't expecting such a dramatic loss. But then I remembered I'm reading Deadly Class, and that's sort of what brought me to the book, was that anything can happen, and it's going to. It is absolutely going to happen. It may or not have stuck, but when you get to the last page of a comic, it doesn't matter what happens in the next issue. All that matters is that feeling that you have to sit with for a month, maybe longer, depending on how good the comic is at releasing on schedule. Wytches number 4 was my third favorite comic of this year, and this was as atmospheric as a comic got for me this whole year, where it is just so dark and grimy, and it touches upon a moment from Sailor's past with her dad that lets you connect more to both of those characters, and then it makes the peril that much more perilous. It makes you feel that much more connected. Emotionally, the high point of this series for me. And then that last page, again, being just a, like, wait, what? Which, a lot of times, like, that last moment, if the last moment hits harder, it resonates that much more. Oh, and then my second favorite comic of 2015 was Wytches number 6, the conclusion of the series, at least, hopefully, until they do another one, which feels like it has to happen. There's still more of these guys to go. There's more of this mythology to track. I really liked the way that everything fell together. The whole book had moved along so nicely, and then all of the threads weave together in a way that made sense, but that I didn't necessarily see coming. Sometimes the greatest trick you can pull is having something that is unexpected, but emotionally in your heart, you expected it. So it feels right when it happens. It, it's magic. It's a magic trick. You're not supposed to be able to perform that kind of a trick because half the people are going to be able to tell, and the other half of the people aren't going to care. But when it hits, it hits. And for me, this was really good, and I really liked the way it ended. And it did that thing that I love and hate, where they got to the end and jumped back in time a little bit to before everything was terrible, to make you remember, just how much these people have lost in their time since coming to this place. And my favorite book of 2015, which I shouldn't be trying to present dramatically because it was in the image at the beginning and you've seen it the entire time of the year. It's Southern Bastards number 8. Oh, man. Southern Bastards, I think, is the best comic going, or at least especially through this run, was the best comic going. They have, since this issue, it's been a lot of, it feels like nothing but fill-ins, which isn't a bad thing. It gives you more depth to the characters, and when it does get back, on the story track, I expect it to fire on all cylinders in a way that it even hasn't up to this point. But it's been kind of coasting for the last few months. This one, though, the rise of Euless Boss is something else. Just, the first 4 issues of this comic dealt with one character, which was Tubb? Earl Tubb? It has been a little while since I've read this book, and I can't remember. But the main character, the old man who comes back, his father was the sheriff, and he had a big stick, and that guy was a great character to look into. And then after that storyline, they kind of just moved from that to the villain, and we looked into his backstory, and oh man, it's so good, just so sweet. It's amazing that they can make me care for this character while not making me hate him any less. If anything, I hate him more, knowing how he got there and why he is the way he is, which, like I said before, that should be impossible. This is one of the great characters in comics for the last 10 years, I think. And then the way that it ends, the end of the present storyline after coming back from the flashbacks, and then the elsewhere section of the comic, where it kind of hints as to what character they should be focusing on next once they start really focusing on a character again. It left me wanting a lot more, and it still hasn't given it to me, which makes the anticipation that much better. I do not hate the book for it. I just want to get to Homecoming. And Southern Bastards, you the king. You the king. In case you hadn't been paying attention, 100% Image Comics. Image killed it this year, and Marvel and DC, none of their stuff struck the same chord for me. I liked a lot of the books. I liked them a lot, but it wasn't the most classic time for any of the books that I did enjoy, and the books that I loved these more. So, better luck next year, folks. Got another chance. But Image ruled the roost this time. See you in 2016, which it already is. I'm already seeing you then. Get out of here. If I don't stop recording, I'm just going to keep saying terrible, dumb things. And honestly, I don't know if I had enough space on my phone to record this much video. I might have lost video who knows how long ago. I'm really scared to check. So I'm just going to shush and move on. I hope you enjoyed this, though. I love doing this, and I love that people like to watch it. It's pretty great. So, thanks.